314 AM Al Udeid Air Base, Qatar. A Sumar cruise weapon cuts across the desert night and drives straight into the heart of the American air base. A 3-ton slab of reinforced concrete is reduced to dust in an instant. Then, 39 more Sumar systems follow, arriving in a tight wave. Inside the hardened shelters, the F-35 Lightning II remains on the ground. These aircraft are engineering masterpieces, but they depend on perfect conditions. They need a clean, smooth runway to build enough speed for takeoff. Now the runway is covered with wreckage, broken pavement, and scattered debris. The jets are not beaten in the air. They are stuck before they ever leave the ground. Iran's plan is simple, logical, and effective. They do not need to outfly the most advanced aircraft in the world. They only need to ruin the surface beneath them. The base falls quiet. The sky above it is empty. And in the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranian naval formation begins to move forward, confident that no American aircraft can reach them from above. 50 miles to the north, a very different answer is already taking shape. A public highway begins to tremble in the darkness. There are no runway lights, no polished concrete, no perfect military surface. Just 4 lanes of worn asphalt that have not been repaired in 5 years. Then 2 engines begin to howl. An Iranian reconnaissance drone circling at 30,000 feet catches the heat signature on its infrared camera. It is the A-10 Thunderbolt II, better known as the Warthog. To the Iranian observers, it looks like a relic, a 50-year-old ground attack aircraft. A machine the Pentagon has tried to retire since the 1990s. The Iranian commander is not concerned. He orders a nearby SEAD-3 air defense battery to take the coordinates. But the A-10 was built for exactly this kind of moment. Its engines sit high on the tail for a reason, to keep them away from loose gravel, dust, and debris kicked up from rough surfaces. A stealth jet trying to launch from this road would risk tearing itself apart before it even gains speed. The A-10, however, treats the damaged highway like a first-class runway. The engines reach full power. The aircraft surges forward. In less than 3,000 feet, it lifts cleanly into the night. As it climbs, its upgraded digital wings come alive, installed during a classified 2026 modernization program. Beneath them are rows of GBU-39 small-diameter precision weapons and AGM-65 Mavericks. The upgrade replaced old copper wiring with high-speed fiber optic systems, giving the aircraft a faster nervous system and a much sharper battlefield picture. The A-10 stays low because low altitude is where it is most comfortable. Iranian coastal radar struggles to separate it from the clutter of desert hills and broken terrain. The drone continues to track it, but then the A-10 does something the Iranian planners did not expect. It turns directly toward the center of the naval formation in the strait. The aircraft that Washington kept trying to retire is now the only one still flying. On Iranian screens, the A-10 Thunderbolt II appears as a large, unmistakable radar return. It is moving at 400 miles per hour, low enough that its shadow seems to skim across the white caps of the Persian Gulf. To the Iranian radar commanders, it looks almost insulting. A slow aircraft from another era flying straight toward a modern defense network. They assume it must come within 2 miles to use its famous cannon, so they bring their engagement radars up to full power. That is exactly what the A-10 wanted. Inside the aircraft's nose, the new 2026 APG-83 active electronically scanned array radar is already working. It identifies the radar stations, fixes their exact GPS positions, and builds a 3-dimensional map of the entire defense grid. The Iranian Sayed-3 battery launches. The projectile climbs into the night, curves downward, and locks onto the heat trail of the A-10. Against an older aircraft from the 1970s, this would have been the final move. But this is not the old Warthog. The 2026 upgrade includes the ALQ-213 electronic warfare management system. In an instant, the A-10 creates a digital copy of itself 500 yards to the left. To the Iranian guidance system, there are suddenly 2 Warthogs in the sky. The incoming weapon hesitates, caught between overlapping signals. Its tracking logic breaks down, and it dives harmlessly into the open water. The A-10 never even changes course. It is still coming. Then comes the moment that completely rewrites the Iranian tactical playbook. The A-10 does not dive toward the radar site. It does not close in for a classic low-level attack. From 40 miles away, its wings release a smooth wave of GBU-39 small-diameter precision glide weapons. Thanks to the 2026 digital backbone upgrade, a single pylon can now carry a quad rack. The Warthog is not carrying 2 or 4, it is carrying 16. The glide weapons move through the air in silence. 4 of them strike the primary radar dish at Bandar Abbas at almost the same instant. The steel frame folds in on itself and drops from the sky. 4 more hit the command trailers, shutting down the electronics in a flash of heat and pressure. The remaining 8 find the Sayed-3 launchers. The systems still sitting on their rails erupt in a chain reaction, sending fragments scattering across the cliffs for half a mile. In 60 seconds, the coastal defense grid that was supposed to be untouchable has gone blind. The A-10 did not simply get through it. It reached out from beyond the horizon and removed its eyes. Now the Warthog banks south, turning toward the naval blockade with 30,000 pounds of remaining ordnance beneath its wings. The Strait of Hormuz has become a crowded field of Iranian fast attack craft. They are small, 100-foot boats armed with heavy guns and Noor anti-ship weapons. 50 of them cut across the water in sharp, unpredictable patterns, moving like a swarm. Their mission is to overwhelm an American destroyer by attacking from every direction at once. The A-10 drops to 500 feet. The Iranian boats open up, throwing streams of tracer fire into the air. Thousands of rounds strike the aircraft's body and bounce away from its reinforced skin. The cockpit sits inside a 1,200-pound shell of aerospace-grade titanium armor, built to withstand direct hits from 23mm anti-aircraft rounds. To the Warthog, the boat fire is like rain hitting stone. Then the A-10 launches its first AGM-65 Maverick. The weapon races just above the water at 700 miles per hour. Its infrared seeker searches for the hottest part of the target, the engine. It reaches the lead Iranian boat from behind. A bright flash tears through the stern, and the hull breaks apart as the engine section skips across the surface like a flat stone. But the enemy still has one move left. An Iranian frigate hidden behind a large commercial tanker launches a Misag-2 shoulder-fired heat-seeking weapon. It is designed to lock on and guide itself, and at this range, the A-10 has almost no time to interfere. The weapon climbs fast and strikes the right engine. A ball of fire bursts around the engine housing. Torn turbine pieces rip outward through the side of the aircraft. The right tail fin is punched with holes. The Warthog jerks hard to the right. Its nose drops toward the waves. The Iranian boat crews expect the Warthog to come apart in the sky. But this is the moment when the A-10's strange design turns the battle into something the enemy did not prepare for. The engines are mounted outside the fuselage and set far apart from each other. The fire in the right engine does not reach the fuel tanks. It does not reach the left engine. The twin tail design gives the aircraft another layer of survival. Even if one side is badly damaged, the other can still help keep the plane under control. The fire suppression system activates, filling the right engine with extinguishing agent. The flames disappear. The A-10 levels its wings. It is flying on one engine, with half of its tail torn open and dark red hydraulic fluid leaking from its backup lines. But it is still airborne. And for this aircraft, that means the fight is not over. The Warthog lines up its nose with the center of the boat swarm. The A-10 is not a delicate aircraft. It is a flying armored machine, built to keep moving unless the entire airframe is taken apart. Then the nose comes alive. This is the GAU-8 Avenger, a 7-barrel rotary cannon almost the size of a small car. It fires 30mm rounds at a rate of 3,900 rounds per minute. The first burst reaches a cluster of 5 Iranian fast boats. The rounds strike the water and the vessels in rapid succession. Each impact lands with the force of a small battlefield charge. One boat is split apart. Another loses its fuel section and turns into a column of fire. 2 more are torn open by the pressure of nearby impacts. The A-10 sweeps the stream across the surface of the water. In a 10-second burst, the Warthog removes 12 boats from the fight. The remaining Iranian craft turn away and race back toward the coast at full speed. The damaged A-10 Thunderbolt II descends toward the desert highway, leaving a broken ribbon of smoke behind its silent right engine. As the jet approaches the asphalt, the ground ahead suddenly erupts. Iranian intelligence has followed the old aircraft back to its improvised base. A hidden battery of Fateh 110 short-range ballistic systems, concealed in a palm grove 20 miles away, launches a programmed strike against the highway coordinates. The first Fateh 110 hits the road just 500 yards ahead of the A-10's landing path. The impact tears open a crater 40 feet wide and 10 feet deep. This is the trap the enemy was waiting for. Even if the aircraft survived the sky, they expected the ground to finish it. But the A-10 does not turn away. It cannot. The jet touches down hard. The aircraft bounces over a smaller crater, its heavy-duty landing gear flexing like the suspension of a mountain bike. It swerves around a burning piece of debris from the strike and finally rolls to a stop in the dirt beside the road. A $100 million stealth fighter would have snapped its landing gear on contact. The A-10 treats the shattered highway like a rough patch of pavement. A mobile fuel truck, disguised as an ordinary commercial vehicle under a camouflage tarp, races toward the aircraft. Then another threat appears on the horizon. A swarm of Iranian Ababil, 3 one-way attack drones, rises in the distance. Each one carries a 10-pound high-energy payload. There are 30 of them, and they are all turning toward the grounded Warthog. The A-10 is still taxiing. With only one engine, it cannot safely launch again. But the 2026 upgrade gave it something new, a revolutionary tactical link. The Warthog's updated computer system is connected to a U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS Arleigh Burke, positioned 60 miles away in the Gulf. The A-10 uses its infrared sensors to mark the incoming drone swarm with a laser. 60 miles away, the destroyer receives the targeting data and launches a wave of RIM-162 ESSM interceptors. The drones are too small for the ship's own radar to see clearly over the desert hills. But now, the Warthog is acting as the destroyer's eyes. A storm of interceptors reaches the swarm. 28 drones disappear in a chain of mid-air flashes. The final two get close enough for their shockwaves to shake the A-10's cockpit glass, but the titanium armor around the pilot and core systems holds firm. This is the shift that shocks the Iranian command. The A-10 is no longer just an aircraft. It has become the forward sensor for the entire American force in the area. The ground crew does not wait for a full repair team. There is no hangar, no perfect maintenance bay, no clean equipment lined up under bright lights. They work right there beside the road. A standard hand-crank pump moves fuel from the disguised commercial truck into the aircraft. Heavy-duty tape and simple metal patches cover the torn sections of the tail fin. The repair looks rough, almost improvised, but that is exactly the point. The A-10 was built for ugly conditions. It is not staying on the ground. The crew isolates the ruined right engine, removing nearly 3,000 pounds of useless weight from the aircraft. Then they load the remaining pylons with one final emergency payload, a PKWS laser-guided rockets. These begin as ordinary unguided rockets, but with a small seeker added to the front, they become precision tools. The highway is still under pressure. More Iranian long-range systems are already on the way. The Warthog pushes its single remaining engine to full power. It rolls onto the dirt shoulder beside the road and starts building speed. Loose stones and dust tear backward beneath the aircraft, but the high-mounted engine stays clear of the debris. The straight wings bite into the air, creating heavy lift at low speed. In less than 2,000 feet, the A-10 rises from the dirt. It is uneven, scarred, and trailing smoke, but it is flying again. As it climbs, the aircraft spots the Iranian Fateh 110 battery that has been targeting the highway. The launch vehicles are moving now, trying to disappear beneath a bridge. The A-10 does not have the fuel for a long chase, so it dives. The APKWS rockets leave the wings in a steady stream. Their seekers lock onto the bridge supports and the launch vehicles at the same time. The bridge gives way. 500 tons of reinforced concrete come down, covering the Iranian battery beneath it. The A-10 levels out at 50 feet, slipping between power lines and sand dunes. At that height, the long-range coastal radars struggle to find it. It has one engine, no primary hydraulic pressure, and a fuselage covered in holes and scars. But it is still moving, and it is heading for the next highway strip, 30 miles away, where another fuel truck is waiting. Before this story ends, there is one detail about the A-10 Thunderbolt II that almost no one talks about. Look at the nose of the aircraft. The massive GAU-8 Avenger cannon is not placed perfectly in the center. It is shifted slightly to the left. That was not a mistake. It was a physics problem. The cannon is so large and its internal machinery is so heavy that the front landing gear had to be moved off-center just to make room for it. But here is the detail that changes the way you look at everything that just happened. The recoil from that cannon is about 10,000 pounds of force. That is more thrust than one of the A-10's own engines can produce. When the aircraft fires a long burst at low speed, the cannon can actually slow the plane down. In theory, if it could fire long enough without stopping, the recoil would push so hard that the aircraft could lose the speed it needs to stay in the air. That is how extreme this machine really is. The aircraft was not designed around elegance, it was designed around survival, around a cannon so powerful that the rest of the plane had to be built around it. For 30 years, the Pentagon tried to replace it with aircraft that depend on perfect surfaces, clean runways, and controlled conditions. Iran spent enormous sums on weapons designed to break those runways, but neither side fully accounted for a plane that does not care whether the runway is still there. Think about that the next time you hear someone call a weapon obsolete. Maybe the machine is not the outdated part. Maybe the outdated part is the way we imagine the battlefield.